Hi guys, welcome to another video at my YouTube channel. Today we're going to play with some embossing paste and embossing powder, and I'm going to show you a fun technique. We're going to start with some Prima Opaque Matte embossing paste. This is going to dry completely matte, but also completely opaque, so you won't be able to see through it. And the stencil I'm using is by Echo Park. So I'm going to smooth that on using a plastic palette knife, and I really like the ones with the long blades so you can get a smoother application. In here I'm just sprinkling on my rose gold embossing powder from Stampendous. And then you're going to set that aside and let it completely dry. So here I just use a paintbrush to brush off any of the excess, and I also take a lint roller for your clothes and roll that over the top a few times and pick up any extra bits. And I let mine dry overnight just to make sure there is no moisture left. And you want to let your heat gun run for a good 60 seconds before you apply it to your paper to avoid any warping. And the reason you want to let your your paste completely dry is so that it doesn't bubble up underneath the paste or the powder and give you a crinkly, weird, bubbly look. And as you can see, because it's dry, the powder is melting very smooth and metallic looking, which is the whole point. So I just heat embossed that until it was all melted, nice and shiny and pretty. And then just set that aside for the next part. So here I've used a Concord 9th die set called Beautiful You, and I cut that out of some Blackberry Bliss cardstock, the same as we used for the embossing paste panel, and then covered that in Versamark and then Judikins iridescent sparkle embossing powder, and we're going to heat emboss those as well. And I just use the back of a sticky note to kind of hold it in place. And the sentiments we'll use here in a minute come from the Beautiful You stamp set from Concord 9th as well. So this is how I want my final piece to look to go on my card front. So I just kind of stacked it up, placed it together. That circle is from Love You Mean It stamp set from Concord 9th. And then I kind of take it apart in my MISTI and then kind of rearrange the stamps so that I can pick them up and they'll fit properly. And I stamp that on some Stampin' Up! Vellum. It's got a nice weight to it, it's not too thin. Using Momento Tuxedo black ink. That is a dye-based ink. And then I ink that up again because I don't quite get it right in the middle. And now we're going to stamp the circle image, and we're going to stamp that in Versamark as well using the same Judikins embossing powder that we used previously. And as I said, you want to use a thicker vellum if you're going to heat emboss because it resists the warping better. So I heat emboss that, and then we're going to use a circle die to die cut it. And I add some stick it sheet adhesive to the back of the vellum before I die cut it. And I love this stuff because it's super thin, so it doesn't interfere with die cutting, but it's also super strong. And that circle die I believe is from a Sizzix set, but you can use any circle die you have in your stash. So run that through. And I don't have it on camera, but I did run that purple panel through my Big Shot with the Avery L Wonky Stitches die. I just really like the finished look it gives. And that is a Xyron sticker maker. It's about 1.5 inches wide or so, and it's really useful for any delicate or tiny die cuts like the one we're using here. And it applies adhesive over the entire back of the die cut, so you don't have to fuss with matte medium or glue. Just makes it really easy to peel and stick. And I just trace around it using my bone folder to get into little nooks and crannies. So here I'm adding the vellum die cut, and I'm just kind of rubbing around with my finger to make contact with the cardstock, kind of in and around the embossing paste. And then I arranged the beautiful die cut. I didn't end up using the U. And I just love the contrast between the deep purple of the cardstock and the die cut and then the pinky gold of the embossing powder. I think it's so pretty. And you can really see the shift in the light. So the sequins I'm adding are both from Pretty Pink Posh, or all three are from Pretty Pink Posh. The sparkling clear is 4mm, and then I have the rose gold in 4mm and 8mm. And then I attach those with some glossy accents. So thanks for joining me for the video today. This was done for Tupelo Designs LLC, and they supplied the stencil that I used today. So hit me up on social media, Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. And don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any more cards or any kind of crafting goodness. I have some still shots of the card at the end to kind of show you the shift in a little bit more detail. So thanks for joining me today, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.